I love that you organically brought up the Fallout TV show, because that's one of the things I've kind of been wondering about. Like, what is it like seeing something that you worked on get adapted in a different medium? Like, do you get, even though I know you weren't at Bethesda anymore, like, does that make you nervous? Like, think about how a whole new audience is going to get exposed to this world and to, these characters, or do you see like some connective tissue to your games that you made? Like, I know I got a little scared when the announcement was, yeah, no, this show is going to exist in our universe of the games. And I'm like, oh no, that scares me a little, because I think that's a really slippery slope. Like,
Well, you've seen it done
comics and
badly.
graphic novels are one thing. I
Yeah.
think a 10-hour TV series is another entirely.
Well, you've seen it done badly so many times
Right.
with either
That's
people
true.
picking the wrong things to focus on, or not taking it seriously enough, or taking it too seriously. Right? There's this real fine line where you're taking the content way too seriously, and then it's not fun, it's not engaging, or you're you're tongue in cheek the whole time, winking at the camera because you also think they didn't respect it. And I will tell you this, and I don't think it's secret information. We were off. I know because I was in the room in a lot of these talks, and I sat next to Todd for 10 or the 12 of the 15 years. Literally, our offices right next door to each other, and they people wanted to do a TV show, and I don't know if people know, but the board of ZeniMax at the time was all Hollywood. It was like not Michael. It was I'm going to space on a couple of them, but it was Jerry Bruckheimer and oh yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer was on it. Les Moonves, the guy who used to run CBS. There was Harry Sloan, who's also, you can Google him later, is a very big Hollywood guy. Robert Altman himself, to see how my camera finally started working. Robert Altman himself was he's married to Linda Carter, so he used a lot of ties into Hollywood. She's fantastic, by the way. They So anyway, they had a lot of inroads there, and a lot of people asking to make these shows. And they said no constantly, no, 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 because we always were like, we looked at some of these at the time video game adaptations have been pretty bad, like a lot of them. And finally, when we heard about Joan Nolan, and he was doing Westworld at the time, and obviously Christopher Nolan's brother, and we all loved all of Christopher Nolan's movies. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is huge. And this was I was just one of many people chatting with Todd about this. I was far from making decisions on this stuff, but it was interesting to see that. And then when Amazon wanted to do it, it was fantastic, and we were like, how much better can this be? And then we found out he was a real fan of the games, like he played the games. I think he did some shoot or some trailer for it or something they announced, and he talked about how he played the games before he like got big in Hollywood when he was first out there and stuff. Anyways, you couldn't have a better person do it than someone who had played the games and took them seriously. And it shows in this. I mean, I love the show, and I couldn't believe the reception of it. And then it got nominated for like 16 or 17 Emmys or something. I was like, oh my God, this is beyond the pale. And it's great. It's fantastic. And it's scary. It's again scary though, right? Yeah, like I pick up on all the little. Between Fallout 4, where I was a lead producer on, it's Fallout 76, which I was a project lead on for 3 years prior to its shipping, and then about 2 years post it shipping. I was 10 straight years in Fallout. I spent a minimum of 40. I mean,
Good Lord.
a minimum of 40 hours a week on Fallout. Oftentimes 70, 80. It's the only game I played. There's a quote of me, and it was taken out of context a little, where I was at some E3 or something where I said I've played Fallout 4 for 400 hours, right? And that people thought, oh my God, it's a 400-hour game. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like when you're making games, you play. You might be playing the same 1 hour 400 times, right? And that wasn't the case for Fallout, but it was just you just start over and over and over again, and it was a decade. And that's why Weird Song, by the way, is not post-apocalyptic. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I need to go back into fantasy land. No way. So I picked, and then you watch it and like, listen, I'll be honest, like I'm texting with people like, it's great. You're texting I'm still buddies with everyone there. I'm texting with them. I'm seeing them at the premiere. It makes you sort of sad because I'm not there anymore, and I see Emil and Isfan and Todd at the premieres and stuff, and you're like, but I'm so happy for them, and and honestly, for video games as a whole, we need video games. And when I started, we're looked at we were the, I don't know if this is politically correct or not, but we were the redheaded stepchild of entertainment for a long time.
Hmm.
When I started in early 2000s in Hollywood, I was living in LA, and I'd go to these parties and stuff, and I tell them I make video games, and you're like a passing curiosity, right? Like, and now when you say you work on video games, trust me, they'll talk to you more than they'll talk to some TV runners and other things, because video games have taken so much mind share and so much of the consumer spending. But anyways, at the time, it's just great to see that there's the stories and worlds we create are as respected as, like, I'm not comparing it to Star Wars or to Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
Please don't take this out of context, but they're in the conversation. The worlds we create are in the conversation now. There could be Fallout shows for, you know what I'm saying, fan fiction, all the rest for 50 years, just like Lord of the Rings. There really could be. All right. I'm not saying there will or won't be. I'm not a prognosticator, but it could be an IP that, your grandkids are playing. Like we're still talking about Lord of the Rings, and that was written in the 40s. So you just don't know.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.